welcome to ET Now. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now with me, Kanishka Sarkar and Ankita Saxena, a show where we take all your stock-specific queries with our experts. But before that, the top story, the RBI policy outcome, it's pretty much on expected lines. The street was expecting no rate cut change, and that has remained. However, the RBI has flagged some concerns around price pressures. It is expecting CPI inflation to edge up in Q4, Ankita, and beyond that. And the market is not reacting all that positively. In fact, it's the Nifty is sitting at the day's lowest point.
In fact, while the status quo was largely expected, inflation expectations, and also the uncertainty that's looming around tariff, the new stance coming in from Donald Trump, none of this is auguring very well for the markets. In fact, we have broken below all the support levels. We are not even we are now testing actually the 24,550 levels as well on the Nifty. It's a sharp knock coming in from the day's highs. We are down almost 150 odd points from the day's high on the Nifty. Sensex is taking a sharper knock. That's down 352 points from the day's highs, almost 0.5% knock coming in. As far as Nifty Bank is concerned, that is also down in now 0.2%, down almost 170 points from the day's high. So Nifty Bank also, all the indices are actually trading towards the day's lowest point. Broader indices are taking a sharper knock. In fact, they're underperforming the benchmarks. Mid cap trading with cuts of 1.2% right now at the day's lowest point, and so is small caps, that is trading with cuts of 1.3% also at the day's lowest point right now. As far as the sectors are concerned, then all the sectoral indices are trading in the red, especially the rate sensitive realty pack that is taking the sharpest knock. That is taking it on the chin with cuts of almost 2.5%. And remember, Nifty Realty has been seeing a correction for a while now, and of course today, after the unchanged status quo for the RBI, Nifty Realty is taking a sharp knock, and so is Nifty IT, that is down and out 1.5%. Also Nifty Pharma is down, like I mentioned. There's new statement coming by Donald Trump that he is now likely to impose a 250% tariff on the pharma pack. On the back of that, pharma pack is also not doing well, trading with cuts of 1.2%, especially the companies that have a lot of exposure to US for their revenues, like whether it's Zydus, Dr. Reddy's, Glenmark, Aurobindo Pharma. All of these counters are down and out more than anywhere between 0.5% to 1%. So that's how the market is largely shaping up. We are seeing a sea of red across, and we also see a spike up in India VIX that spiked up 2.3%. 11.97 is where India VIX is at, and the advanced decline ratio is clearly in the favors of declines today, Kanishka.
That's right. So that's how the market is looking like right now. But to discuss this further and take all our stock-specific queries that our viewers are sending us, we are now joined by Sharan Leelani, who's a market expert, in-house market expert with us, and Hemain Kaparia, technical associate, DR Choksi FinServ. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us today. A very good morning to you. Hemain, sir, let me come to you before we start with all the queries. Another day, another tariff. And now we have the RBI policy outcome, and markets are not reacting all that positively to any of this news, sitting at the day's lowest point. Till when do you think this downtrend is going to continue?
A very good morning to you, Kanishka. Thank you for having me on the show. A very good morning to Ankita. I don't know. Reading charts is anyway a difficult proposition, but reading Trump and his statements is different ballgame altogether. I mean, there is no stability unless and until this Trump talk subsides. Markets have held as of now the 24,992 level. Yeah, we are breaching that as of now. So this level has been crucial, Kanishka. VIX is up to 12. I still feel till it doesn't go above 14, it's not much. There's not much to worry, but the market doesn't seem good. Nifty Bank continues to sink. So if 24,992, it's already being broken, is doing this, I believe that there could be further pain once we close below this. So things are not looking very convincing. Markets are oversold, no doubt. But even then, one gets the feeling that this negative overhang is spoiling the atmosphere. Any positives are not being sustained. And just after a small bounce or a blip, it continues to fizzle. So I say one should stay away till we see stability coming in. And yes, if you like stocks, buy fundamentally good stocks, do an SIP. I mean, there's no harm in doing that.
Absolutely. So a word coming in from a techie saying that perhaps SIP would be the best route in this market, and checking out the fundamentals would be important at this current juncture. But let's get started then with all the questions in the stocks specific queries that you've been sending in. The first question is coming in from RK Ahuja, who's writing in. He says that he is he, he says that he has an exposure in KPIT Tech and Chola Investments, and he also wants to buy Asian Paints. And he says that for KPIT, he wants to know if he can sell KPIT at these levels. He's bought it last year at a buying price of 1,290 rupees, and Chola he's bought it at a buying price of 1,493. What should he be doing with these two counters, KPIT Tech and Chola Invest? And he wants to buy Asian Paints. Sharan, let me come to you for this one. Is Asian Paints a right bet at this point? And what about Chola and KPIT Tech? Good levels to sell it right now?
So Ankita, let's start with KPIT since he's already invested. The whole IT pack is looking very weak on the charts and nothing new is expected from KPIT. Again, trading below all its moving averages. Your buying price is slightly higher on the 1290 levels, but I would suggest keep a stop loss rather than exiting the counter. The stop loss is not that much far away from the current price. A stop loss of 1180. If it hits on a daily closing basis, you can exit it. And second, Chola investment, I think with rate cuts that have come in the last quarter and the tax cut, I think these investment companies will show better fundamentally in the coming 2 or 3 quarters. So I think you can stick with Chola investment, but KPIT do keep a stop loss around 1180 on a daily closing basis. Asian Paints, again, fundamentally hardly any growth, 3.9% kind of volume growth. But on technically, it is moved above the 200-day DMA. Despite weak markets, it's making a higher high, higher low pattern. So definitely, I think you can enter Asian Paints, but to keep a very strict stop loss of around 2,400. If at any point of time it closes below 2,400 on a daily basis, exit the stock, and then we can review it in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
All right, so that's the view on Asian Paints. But moving on, Hemant, sir, let me come to you. Our viewer Geeta Anand is writing from Delhi. She wants to know what is your preferred pick in the defense space. You know, the sector is in focus today, of course, after that DAC procurement approval came yesterday for worth 67,000 crore rupees worth of products. So, what is your preferred pick in this space?
Kanisha, all of them are corrective, no doubt. So I would say go with something which has declined maximum. A favorite has been BEL, but I think it needs to correct a bit. So it's a toss-up between BEL and BDL. Both are looking good from a longer-term point of view. I would say, once again, spread your purchase. Don't buy everything at one go. Market still seem to be slightly volatile. So BEL and BDL would be my picks. I mean, frankly speaking, even HAL, HAL, Cochin, all of them are looking good, but technically to look more compelling than the others. But the others are not bad.
Those are Hemant's picks, BEL and BHEL from the defense pack. But let me come to you now, Sharan. This question is coming in from NSS Lakshmi from Vijayawada. She says that she's purchased Tata Communications at a buying price of 300 shares at a buying price of 200 rupees. She wants to know if she should book profit or hold on to shares. She's made considerable profits given her buying price of 200 rupees. So congratulations to her for that. But at this juncture, do you see more upside from where the stock is right now, Sharan, or should she just book out?
Ankita, I think there can be some mistake in a buying price. I think it must be around 1200. If she's bought at around 200, that's around 2018-19 buying. So it's a very long term. Firstly, congratulations if you have bought at 200. I think the stock is not looking that great. It's consolidating. It's on a sideways thing. So I would suggest, since your buying price is just 200, I would suggest rather keep a stop loss of 1625 in the system. If at any point of time it closes below 1625, exit the counter, take your profits home, and we can again review the stock, but nothing great on the charts. I think it can consolidate between that 1600 and 1700 mark for the next 2-3 weeks. So just keep a stop loss in the system of 1625 and hold on to your position. If it moves upside, you'll make more money. If at all you have a big position and you want some profits, or you have seen some more investment ideas, you can just book out 35% at the current price and put a stop loss around 1625 on a daily closing basis.
Okay, so let's move on and get Hemen sir, your view on Reliance Industries and CG Power. This is Ram Kumar writing from Chennai. He wants to know whether or not Reliance is a good long-term buy, and also if CG Power could turn out to be a similar long-term buy story.
So have entered into a correction of a greater degree. So I would say do not rush. I think it has been in a long-term uptrend for some time now. So I'm not sure if that is a cause for concern. But I would say, once again, take some time to see how things pan out. Currently, we are retracing the rise from 1120 to 1540. 1380 for break decisively for the downside comes in. What I mean to say is this correction could take some time longer than expected. Yeah, but from a longer term point of view, one gets the feeling that Reliance remains safely ensconced in a longer term uptrend. That situation hasn't changed up till now, honestly speaking. And Crompton Greaves, intermediate downtrend, doesn't look very compelling as far as charts are concerned. Any time frame that I see, I know, I just get the feeling that it's currently consolidating, but the bigger picture remains, it's had a phenomenal move. So it will take time to overcome this or digest this rise. So from medium term point of view, yes, CG Power does look better.
With that, it's time for us to take a quick breather. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we will get all your questions answered. Keep sending in your questions and we'll get them answered by our experts on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You tune into Buy Now, Sell Now with me, Ankita Saxena, and with me is Kanishka Sarkar, and we're getting all your stocks related queries answered here. The number is flashing on top of your screen. Keep sending in your questions, your buying price of the stock, your holding period, and your question, and we'll get them answered by our experts, Sharon and Ayn, who have joined us. So let's move on to the next question then. This one's coming from Mahalakshmi from Hyderabad. She says she has been accumulating ABB since January 2023 in small quantities, and the price has been ranging up. So her average buying price is basically 5,560 rupees. She wants to know if she should add more at this juncture or have to wait for some more time before she adds. Hemen, let me come to you for this one. Now, ABB came out with its results. Same candidate from the same pack, L&T, while it posted strong set of Q1 results, ABB, however, was a disappointment. Even the commentary wasn't very rosy, so to speak. So what do you see on the charts for ABB at this juncture? Should she be holding on to it, or what should she do with ABB?
Okay, I think she needs to hold on only if she has patience and a slightly longer term point of view. ABB is a downtrend on all time frames, short term, medium term, long term. 5,000 is a make or break level. If 5,000 decisively, I mean not an intraday breach, at least a weekly, if not a monthly, that happens, we are going to sink further. Technically, there are absolutely no green shoots to warrant an average or buy. Having said that, if the stock comes off from 60 to 50 to 5,000, 1,250 points, a 300-400 point dead cat bounce cannot be ruled out, but that is what it is, nothing more. So as of now, the bigger picture still remains not good. So I say wait, only if you have patience.
Okay, so wait for an opportune time when it comes to ABB India. But moving on, we have our next viewer, Nikhil Sharma, who's writing from Mumbai. He has a query on Crompton. He has 100 shares at a price of 356. He did predict a target of 372. Sharon, he wants to know what is the right time to exit this stock, or should he continue to hold? Do you see the more upside on this one on the charts?
I think you're speaking about Crompton Greaves, if I'm not mistaken. So it's Crompton Greaves is very weak on the chart. It's again similar chart to ABB, like Sir was discussing. It's sell on all parameters. So I would suggest please exit. It's on a verge of a new breakdown. I think you can easily see levels of 300 and even lower coming. So I would suggest exit Crompton Greaves, take the stop loss, wait for 2-3 weeks for the market to consolidate or show some kind of direction before making a new entry into some other sector other than Crompton. On the charts, it's looking very weak.
All right, so Crompton Greaves looking very weak on the charts, so it's a sell on the counter. But coming to the next question then, this is, okay, again, there is no name here. Himain, this person holds TCS at a buying price of 3,700 rupees, and they want to know, they want to buy more of TCS. What's your suggestion on TCS? The IT is looking weak. Is this really a time to get into a counter like TCS, Himain?
Frankly speaking, you answered the question yourself. I absolutely agree with you. It is looking weak. There's no doubt on that. And I believe it could weaken some more. Coming specifically back to TCS, I think 2750, 20 and 2800 is on the horizon. I think that is the place where if our investor wants to invest. Before then, I don't see anything changing for TCS. 2898 is an important level in the middle. I believe that would be tested and broken. So I would say wait. And since you're stuck at higher levels, it would be a big loss to book, but that is up to the risk reward profile of the investor. If you have a 2-year point of view, buying sub 2800 would make sense because the corrective bounce would give you a 800 or 1000 point rise. So once again, I'm not sure this is a right strategy for an investor, but this is the technical charts look further decline and then a bounce. So plan your strategy accordingly. But like you said, I think IT doesn't look very copacetic now.
Right. So that's Himain's take on TCS. But Sharon, let me come to you also for TCS, especially because you had mentioned something, you had mentioned it strategy around TCS on Twitter, on X. Why don't you take us through what you had mentioned about TCS?
So Ankita, I think it's been 2 years since TCS announced a buyback. Now they have done at least 2% employee cuts. They have a lot of cash on the books. They have to make their investors also happy, shareholders happy. So the strategy is there is very high probability that they will do another buyback in TCS. So I think the last 2 buybacks were over 4,000 odd rupees and the acceptance ratio was around 30-35%. So even if someone buys TCS at current level or like Sir said around 28,000-29,000, I think still there's good amount of money to be made if a buyback is announced. Again, it's a very high probability trade and it will require 3 to 6 months of patience. So that is the whole strategy on TCS. They have cash on the books. There are no major acquisitions planned. So I think a buyback is on the card. Maybe it comes after 6 months or 9 months. I'm not sure. So if someone has the patience, I think this is a very decent level, or like Sir mentioned, around 28,000-29,000, you can start adding TCS. It's a high risk probability. So definitely, even if you buy, do keep a stop loss in the system, not more than 10% of the total value of your investment.
All right, so a high risk strategy for TCS. But moving on, Himain sir, let me come to you. This viewer Swati, she's a long-term investor. She wants to know your view on Laurus Labs. Her average price is 260 rupees. She wants to know whether she should book profits at this level, and also she wants you to identify any pick in the energy space and what would be the entry levels for that.
Okay, Laurus Lab has had a dream run. RTS, congratulations to our investor for getting in at an unbelievable level. There is no harm in booking some profit after such a humongous move. Just over the last year or so, the stock has moved from sub 400 to 920, currently quoting at 830. The long-term charts are still bullish, but if a move like this unfolds, I believe it could slip into a bigger correction. So I think booking some profits won't hurt. From an energy point of view, I think Vari Energy looks something which is interesting, but I don't have too much of data to back my recommendation. It's a relatively new listing, but whatever data we have, the setup seems promising. I believe there would be upside coming in over there, notwithstanding whatever is happening on the American front. But yes, I think that looks technically interesting, positive.
Right, so that's the view coming in on Laurus Labs, which has seen a dream run. Coming to you then, Sharan, this is Sunita Rai who's writing in from Bangalore. She wants to know about these two counters from the PSU, Pac Central Bank and Bank of Maharashtra. She wants to know if this is the best level to enter. Sharan, even though PSU banks have been a consensus call, also given the rate cuts and how PSU banks are likely to do well, these two counters, both Bank of Maharashtra and Central Bank, they have been underperforming. Do you see them performing better in the next 1 year, and are these the right levels to enter these counters?
So Ankita, I think Bank of Maharashtra is still very decent on the charts. So I think I've given a recommendation of buy once or twice. It's also hit the targets. But again, the whole PSU pack, the banking pack and all other index will follow the Nifty. Nifty is looking slightly weak. I think you might witness somewhat of a correction around 20,450, even 500 odd levels. So you might see a good dip in the PSU pack also. But again, looking at the rate cuts, since the impact comes after 2 or 3 quarters, I think you will see a good turnaround fundamentally in these companies. Now, between Central Bank and Bank of Maharashtra, I think Bank of Maharashtra is a better pick. So do a SIP, don't go all in. I think if it holds the support level or if it holds above 50, you can easily see a good reversal coming to 60, 65 and 70 levels. So between the both, I would suggest a SIP in Bank of Maharashtra for upside of 70, even 75 kind of levels in the coming 6 to 12 months.
Okay, so those are the levels to track for Bank of Maharashtra. But Hemen, now let me come to you. This is Sudha, viewer, writing, asking about PNB Housing Finance. She wants to know the stock has seen a little bit of a downtrend. So after the resignation of the CEO, so she wants to know whether or not it's a good pick for the long term. Could she consider entering at the current levels?
No, the setup is just on the verge of getting spoiled. We could see further pressure coming in. 750, the swing low. I believe that would provide the requisite cushion for a bounce back, considering the sharp fall that we've had. And yes, the extreme shorter term picture has got a bit oversold, but it doesn't look very convincing on the charts. And okay, the beginning of the month, so one would have to, I would like to give a caveat on that, that these price formations need to be existing at the end of the month for the indicators to work. Having said that, like I said, it's slipping into a correction of a greater degree. So I don't think so, not looking very convincing. And yes, maybe it sounds boring, but the 740 level is being for break.
All right, that's the call coming on PNB Housing. But Hemen and Sharan, I'd request you to hold there. We have a news that's coming in that India's nationwide rollout of E20 fuel, a blend of 20% ethanol and 80% petrol, that is aimed at a cleaner mobility and reducing oil imports. That has been raising concerns, especially amongst the owners of older vehicles. From mileage drops to fuel line corrosions, users have taken to social media with complaints. My colleague Nivedana Prabhu is joining us with the details of that story. Over to you, Nivedana.
India's auto industry is in the middle of a major fuel transition. The shift to E20 petrol with 20% ethanol, it promises cleaner energy and lower oil imports. But it's sparking debate because on social media, many consumers are flagging mileage drops, harder starts and corrosion in older vehicles. But the Petroleum Ministry in a statement clarified saying efficiency loss is minimal, 1 to 2% in E10 ready vehicles, 3 to 6% in others, and that E20 meets the BIS safety standards with corrosion inhibitors built in, that is. But remember, Hero MotoCorp has cautioned that pre-April 2023 models may need engine and system modifications for E20 compatibility. From the dealer side, if you happen to look at it, FADA President C.S. Vigneshwar told ET Now that the large vehicle population must be considered. He warned of possible corrosion in older fuel lines and called out for a phased rollout with pumps offering petrol E20 and higher blends like E30. In fact, he also said that OEMs haven't fully acted and the government's roadmap needs to be more clearer in that sense. But the industry now faces the challenge of executing the shift without stalling either engines or consumer trust.
All right, thank you so much, Nivedana, for getting us all those latest details. But on that note, we'll take a very short break. Be right back with more on the other side. Welcome to Kanishka Sarkar and Ankita Saxena, a show where we are taking all your stock-specific queries with our experts. So let's get back to all the queries then. We still have Sharan and Hemant joining us to answer all your queries. Hemant, let me come to you for this one. This is Reshma Bhatia. She wants to know your view on BSE. She has 76 shares of BSE. She's sitting with a loss of 15% at this point. She wants to know whether she should look to add at the current level, for a long term, or should she look to average?
I don't think add or average quantifies at this point in time. It's a simple thing. Lower top, lower bottom. This is in a downtrend. If I look at the short term, that is a setup. If I look at the medium term, it's the same thing. Lower top, lower bottoms. There isn't any significant support nearby that I would tell her to take a risk of averaging. The next significant support, I'm not saying no support, significant support comes in at 2288 followed by 2000. So she wants to average, I think these levels need to be kept an eye on. Please keep in mind, BSE has moved from 150 to 3000. You can't run 2 marathons in a row. Give it some time to consolidate, retrace what's technically called a time price correction.
So that's the view on BSE. But on that note, we are completely timed out in this edition. Hemant and Sharan, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us and answering all the questions for us. But moving on then, at least 4 have died and dozens feared washed away in the Uttarkashi district of Uttarakhand after flash floods triggered by torrential rains hit the Kher Ganga river. Meanwhile, Home Minister Amit Shah spoke to Uttarakhand CM Pushkar Singh Dhami to take stock of the situation. My colleague Tejshri filed this ground report from Tehri. Let's take a look.
Well, the situation in Uttarkashi and nearby areas is quite serious and concerning. Currently, we are reporting from Tehri Garhwal area of Uttarakhand, where we'll be showing you that how there is continuous rise in the water level of the river, because of which the continuous landslides are occurring and it is very difficult for the people as well to move from one area to another. We saw that how there were devastating visuals yesterday from the Dharali village in Uttarkashi, and then how several, houses were washed away, the roads were washed away. However, relief camps are being set up, but the destruction has been, in a large scale, because of which the condition is very much critical over there. Given the poor weather conditions and the further predictions of the heavy rains over the next couple of days, the administration has already announced that all schools will be shut till July 6th. But as far as the current situation is concerned, you can see that how difficult it is as well to in this area as well from where we are reporting right now, because of if we move towards Uttarkashi, then there are continuous landslides, because of which it is making difficult as well for the people or commuters or us also to move towards that area. However, the security personnel, the joint operations are being carried on. The security personnel are trying to, remove the debris and reconnect the roads, but it is not that easy as it seems. On the ground, the situation is very much different and difficult as well, because what the people and locals were seeing were telling us that, it is not the normal water level of this river. In the normal days, the water level is quite low, but the intensity with which the river is flowing, you can just understand the condition, that what the condition must be over here. Mrityunjay, if you can show the visuals also of this area, and in fact at any point of time the water level could keep on rising, because the red alert has already been issued in this entire area. If you move forward, then you will be heading towards Uttarkashi, but then again the security personnel are also saying that it is difficult for them as well to move towards the Dharali area, where we saw the devastating and heartbreaking visuals coming from the social media. We saw that how the social media was also flooded with those videos. We could hear people screaming for help, but again the security personnel are trying to establish contact, but the connectivity of roads is not just the road is poor, but also the connectivity of a network is very much poor over here, which makes it more challenging. However, the place where we are reporting right now, the entire area seems to be on red alert, but yes, continuous efforts are being made to rescue people, but next 24 hours are going to be very much crucial.
All right, thank you so much, Tejshri, for getting us that ground report from Tehri. We'll keep bringing you more updates from Uttarkashi. But on that note, Ankita and I will take your leave. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. But don't go anywhere, as more action coming up on the other side.